Your energy is not for public consumption. Have you ever ended your day feeling completely drained? Yet when you look back, you can't pinpoint exactly what you accomplished. You weren't moving mountains. You weren't in a physical battle. Yet your energy, your very life force is gone. Where did it go? We have been told a lie, a subtle lie that we have come to accept as truth. The lie is that our energy is drained by what we do, that our exhaustion comes from our tasks, our jobs, our projects. Sir, but the real thief isn't your to-do list. The real thief is invisible. It's the constant, silent, and relentless act of explaining yourself to a world that isn't even listening. You aren't just explaining. You are delivering the keys to your inner peace to people who will not treasure it. You are handing over the controls of your emotional state. You are seeking permission to be yourself from an audience that is too busy seeking its own validation. This stops today, because today we are not just going to talk about protecting your energy. We are going to install an entirely new operating system. We are going to retrieve the keys you gave away and permanently change the locks. Welcome to the reclamation of your power. To understand how to protect your energy, you must first understand the architecture of the leak. It is not random. It is a protocol running in the background of your mind. Let's call it the energy leak protocol. And it's not your fault that it's running, but it is your responsibility to uninstall it. This protocol has two core commands that were programmed into us from a very young age. The first command is seek external validation to confirm your existence. From the moment we are born, we are trained to look outside of ourselves for approval, good grades, praise from our parents, the acceptance of our friends. Our brain's reward system, flooded with the chemical dopamine, learns a dangerous equation. Approval is safety, approval is worth. This is not a character flaw. It is a survival mechanism gone wrong. A primitive software designed for tribal belonging that is now obsolete in a world of digital noise and constant judgment. Think of it. When you share a goal and someone doubts you, what happens? You feel a sting, a need to defend, to justify, to prove them wrong with your words. That is the protocol activating. It screams, warning. Your worth is being questioned. Your safety is at risk. Justify your existence now. Every time you obey this command, you open a valve. And your precious life force, the energy you need to actually achieve the goal, leaks out. It's a tax you pay for an approval that was never required in the first place. The manipulators, the doubters, the critics, they don't even have to work hard. They just have to push a button, and the protocol does the rest. It makes you do the work of draining yourself. Here is the truth they never told you. The people who demand your explanation the most are the ones who benefit the most from your exhaustion. Your lack of energy makes you controllable. Your self-doubt makes you manageable. They don't want to understand you. They want you to run out of the very power you would use to move beyond them. When you realize this, you stop seeing their questions as inquiries. You see them for what they are, energy tapped, to ends to hook into your power source. And you finally understand that a reply is not required. Silence is not an absence of a response. Silence is a shield. The second core command of the energy leak protocol is even more subtle. It is, equate stillness with laziness. Our society glorifies the grind, the hustle, the relentless noisy action. We are taught that if we are not visibly struggling, we are not truly trying. We feel a strange guilt when we are quiet, when we are still, when we are simply being. This guilt is a phantom. It is the protocol whispering, you are being lazy, you will be left behind. Do something, say something, show them you are working. This is how you get tricked into announcing your plans before they are hatched. This is how you are baited into debates that lead nowhere. You are reacting to a manufactured anxiety. But the masters, the builders, the true creators throughout history understood a fundamental law of the universe. Creation does not happen in a whirlwind. It happens in stillness. A seed does not grow by screaming. It grows in silent, persistent, unrelenting pressure beneath the earth. Your greatest work, your most profound transformation, will not happen in the noise of the crowd. It will happen in the sacred silence of your own focused discipline. Understanding these two commands is the first step to liberation. You can't fight an enemy you can't see. Now you see the protocol. You see the invisible thief, and in our next step, we will forge the armor to make you impenetrable. So you have seen the invisible you have identified the thief, but knowledge alone is not power. Knowledge applied is power. An architect's blueprint does not provide shelter from the storm. You must build the house. Now we build your fortress. This fortress is not made of stone or steel. It is forged from intention and breath. We will build it in two parts. First, the shield you raise before the battle even begins. Second, the courage to hold the line when the battle comes to you. Let's begin with the shield. I call this the 2-minute shielding ritual. It is a technique so simple it will seem almost insulting, but its power lies in its application, not its complexity. You will use this before any meeting, any conversation, or any situation where you know your energy will be tested. Before you walk into the office, before you make that phone call, before you meet with that family member who knows exactly which buttons to push. Here is the ritual. Find a quiet space, even if it's just a bathroom stall or the inside of your car. Close your eyes. First, for 60 seconds, you will focus only on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a count of 4, and exhale slowly through your mouth. With every exhale, you are not just releasing air, you are expelling the noise of the world. You are pushing out the anxieties, the expectations, and the frantic energy of others. This is not a passive act. It is an active cleansing. You are consciously creating a space of pure sovereign silence within yourself. Now for the second minute. With that inner silence established, you will engage in a single visualization. Imagine a sphere of calm, brilliant light forming in the center of your chest. This is your core. This is your untainted life force. Now see that light expand with every breath. It expands beyond your body, creating a seamless, impenetrable sphere around you. This sphere is not aggressive. It is not a wall of anger. It is a shield of pure, non-reactive. It is made of your own self-generated tranquility. Anything that comes towards this shield, doubt, criticism, negativity, manipulation, does not shatter against it. It simply dissolves. It is neutralized on contact, unable to penetrate the field of your inner calm. Hold this visualization for the final 60 seconds. Feel the integrity of this shield. Know that it is powered by you, controlled by you, and exists for you. Then, open your eyes and walk into the room. What you have just done is not magic. It is neuroscience. The 60 seconds of controlled breathing calms your amygdala, the primitive reactive part of your brain that screams danger when you feel judged. It brings your prefrontal cortex, the center of logic and self-control, back online. The visualization then gives your focused mind a clear command. We are not in a state of reaction, we are in a state of observation. You have neurologically shifted from being a potential victim of the environment to being a neutral observer of it. You have become the calm eye of the storm. This shield is your proactive defense. But what happens when you are caught off guard? What happens when the energy tap is unexpected? For this, you need the second piece of your armor, the courage of the boundary. Setting a boundary is an act of war for those who have benefited from you having none. They will react. They will accuse you of being selfish, of changing, of being difficult. These accusations are not observations. They are weapons, designed to trigger your old approval-seeking protocol and force you back into submission. This is where you hold the line, and you do it with a simple 3-step internal process. Step 1. Recognize the tap. The moment you feel that sting of guilt, that pull to over-explain, that sudden defensiveness, pause. Do not speak. Internally, you will simply say to yourself, there it is, the tap. By naming it, you separate yourself from the emotional reaction. You are no longer the emotion. You are the one observing it. Step 2. Declare your sovereignty. This is a silent internal declaration. It is your anchor in the storm of their emotional manipulation. You will say to yourself, with absolute conviction, my peace is not negotiable. My energy is not for public consumption. This is not for them. This is for you. It is the reaffirmation of your own value in real time, at the moment it is being challenged. The step 3. Respond. Do not react. A reaction is emotional, chaotic, and leaky. It is what they want. A response is calm, deliberate, and contained. It is a closed gate. Your response does not need to be aggressive. In fact, its power is in its neutrality. You can use simple, impenetrable phrases. I understand. I've made my decision. This is not open for discussion right now. Or the most powerful of all, a calm, deliberate silence. You do not owe them an essay. You do not owe them a defense of your choice. As Friedrich, you are not a defendant in the court of their opinion. By giving a simple, calm, and final response, you are communicating a new reality. The tap is dry. This well is closed. This will feel uncomfortable at first. Your old programming will scream for a fix of approval. But like any muscle, your ability to hold a boundary gets stronger with every repetition. And the peace you gain on the other side, that peace is the reward. It is the proof that you are finally truly protecting yourself. You have built your fortress. You have shielded your peace and learned to hold the sacred line of your boundaries. You have stopped the leak. Now, a new question arises. What do you do with this energy you have reclaimed? An untouched bank account does not make you wealthy. An untouched bank account does not make you wealthy. A full gas tank does not complete the journey. Energy is useless until it is directed. It must be given a purpose. It must be channeled into the creation of the life you desire. This is where we must face the great dragon that guards the gates of every meaningful achievement: discipline. We have all felt it. Surge of motivation after a video like this. A burst of inspiration. We declare, this time it will be different. We buy the gym membership. We start the new project. We wake up early. For 3 days, we fleek. And then, the friction returns. The old inertia pulls us back. And the motivation, which felt so powerful and real, reveals itself to be what it has always been: a fleeting emotion, a temporary get. This is because most of us treat discipline as a matter of willpower, of moral strength. We believe we must feel like doing something in order to do it. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of creation. Discipline is not a feeling. Discipline is physics. Think of a massive heavy flywheel, a colossal iron disc. Your goal is to get this wheel spinning. When you first approach it, it is perfectly still. To get it to move even a single inch requires an immense amount of effort. You push with all your might and it barely budges. This initial struggle, this huge effort to overcome the inertia of inaction, is what scientists call activation energy. This is the hardest part of any new path. The first day at the gym, the first blank page, the first sales call. Your mind and body, accustomed to the old patterns, will resist. The activation energy required is enormous. This is where most people quit. They mistake this initial intense difficulty as a sign that the task is impossible, or that they are not strong enough. They are wrong. They are simply at the hardest part of the equation. But if you push through that initial resistance, if you show up the next day and the next and the next, something miraculous begins to happen. With each consistent push, the flywheel begins to build momentum. The movement becomes slightly easier. It starts to turn more smoothly. After weeks of consistent daily effort, the wheel is spinning with a force of its own. Soon it is spinning so powerfully that it begins to pull you. The effort is no longer in pushing it but in trying to stop it. The habit is now ingrained. The discipline has created its own momentum. This is the physics of real discipline. It is not about waiting for motivation. It is about generating momentum. Now connect this to the principle of working in silence. When you announce your goals to the world, you are wasting your activation energy. You are trying to convince spectators that you can move the wheel instead of just moving the wheel. The small dose of validation you might get is a cheap substitute for the real power of actual momentum. When you work in silence, you are directing 100% of your force exactly where it is needed, on the push. You are not broadcasting, you are building. You are not talking about the empire. You are laying the bricks. The result of this silent, focused work is that one day, people will simply look up and see a spinning flywheel. They will see an empire that seems to have appeared overnight. They will call it luck. They will call it talent. You will call it physics. So how do you apply this practically? Especially on the days when you have no motivation, when the resistance feels absolute. You use the one action rule. This rule is your weapon against the excuse of not having enough time or not feeling it. Further, the rule is this: no matter what, you must take one single action that pushes the flywheel forward. Just one. Not write a chapter, but write one sentence. Not run 5 miles, but put on your running shoes and step out the door. Not meditate for an hour, but take one conscious breath. Why? Because this single action defeats the inertia. It keeps the wheel from coming to a complete stop. It reminds your subconscious mind that you are still in the game. It is a declaration that your commitment is not based on your mood. It is a non-negotiable contract with your future self. The power of the one action rule is that it is too small to fail. There is no excuse to not write one sentence. And what you will often find is that one sentence becomes 2. Then a paragraph. The activation energy is overcome, and you begin to flow. But even if it doesn't, you have won the day. You have made the push. You have maintained the momentum. This is the sword of silence. It is not a flashy weapon. It is the steady, daily, unrelenting application of force in a single direction. And with it, you can carve any reality you choose. Look at the journey we have taken. First, we exposed the invisible thief. We dragged the energy leak protocol from the shadows of your subconscious into the light. You learned that your exhaustion was not a product of your effort, but a consequence of a flawed program, a program you now know how to uninstall. Second, we forged your armor. You learned the 2-minute shielding ritual to proactively protect your peace. And you learned the courage of the boundary to defend it. You are no longer an open resource for the world to drain at its leisure. You are a fortress, and you are the gatekeeper. Third, we put a sword in your hand. You learn that discipline is not a mood, but a law of nature. You now understand the physics of momentum and the power of the one action rule. You know that great empires are not born from grand announcements, but from the silent, relentless laying of one brick at a time. Preek, the protocol is gone. The armor is forged. The sword is in a hand. What happens now? The person who started this video does not exist anymore. That person was perhaps a victim of their circumstances, a ship without a rudder, pushed and pulled by the tides of others' opinions. The person listening now is different. You are an architect. You are a sovereign. You are the eye of the storm. This is not just motivation. This is a fundamental shift in your identity. Your confidence will no longer come from the applause of others, because you have proven your own capability to yourself in silence. Your value is no longer up for debate, because you have declared it non-negotiable. The strange thing is, when you stop needing the world's validation, the world starts to notice you. When you stop chasing opportunities, the right ones begin to find you. The silence you work in becomes magnetic. Your focus is a gravitational force. The financial debt begins to clear because your energy is now invested in building value, not in managing opinions. The toxic relationships fade away because your new frequency no longer resonates with them. The break, the peace you thought was a distant destination, becomes your new baseline, your new home. This is the inevitable result. This is cause and effect. This is the law. You have the knowledge. You have the tools. But the final piece of this transformation requires one more thing: an act of decision. A commitment. A line drawn in the sand, not for anyone else to see, but for you to honor. Knowledge becomes wisdom only when it is sealed by a choice. So, I am not going to ask you to like this video. I am not going to ask you to subscribe. Those actions are for observers. This is for builders. The comment section below is not a forum for opinions. Today it is a training ground. It is the place you will take your first decisive action with this new power. It is where you will sign the contract with your future self. I want you to pick up your sword, plant it in the ground, and make a declaration. Write these 5 words in the comments below. I am my own anchor. Do not write anything else. Just that statement. This is not for me or for anyone else who will read it. This is for you. It is the first push of your flywheel. It is the seal on your commitment. It is the public record of your private decision to become the sole commander of your own life. This is your moment. The moment you stop seeking and start building. The moment you stop explaining and start demonstrating. Your new life is not something you wish for. It is something you command. Go and build in silence.